Welcome to the Time is Right podcast. Time is Ripe is a digital journal podcast of Ripe Creatives. Ripe Creatives is a ministry that leverages the arts for the purpose of missions here in Philadelphia and around our region. Time is Ripe is hosted by Ripe Creatives founder Scott Smith and features various guests from within the Ripe community and our extended family. Each episode focuses on a specific experience that our team hosted here in the city or an outside event where someone from our team was booked to perform. We hope you enjoyed today's episode.
Y'all might have lost your way, but I'm still out here living my purpose. Know that I'm the best to do it when I'm living the service. Once you see light, you understand.
What's up, fam? Welcome back to the Time is Right podcast. My name is Scott Smith, and I am your host here on the Time is Right. Today, we have a really special episode. I say it every time. I'm just going to keep saying it because it's always true. We don't do episodes about nothing.
So special.
We only do episodes about things we really care about and moments that we just feel like, man, this deserves a conversation. Today is really, really in that vein because we're going back to July 5th. It was a Saturday, 2025, to a place called The Bridge Coffee in Levittown, PA. Woo. And we're talking about a thing called the Lamb Jam. I believe it was called the Lamb and Jam originally. It has been correctly rebranded to Lamb Jam. I think it's a better name. To talk about this thing, I got a couple of guests. One, you know all too well on this podcast because he's the producer, he's the co-host, Jarrett Topmop Moses. Welcome back. Woo-woo.
This is going to be a fun event to talk about. It was a cool day. Yeah,
it was a great day. The other person on the pod is a first-timer. We got a first-timer in the building. Shout out to him. You know, we're excited. He goes by the name of Adam Sr. Welcome to the pod, Adam Sr.
Hey, truly so blessed to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
I'm excited, man. Adam's got his own podcast. He's been doing conversational stuff. He's probably the best. He's probably the most equipped guest we've ever had to have a podcast with. So,
had a couple Ripe artists on, at least one Ripe artist on.
Shout out to Demir.
Shout out to Demir. Great episode over there. Adam is also an artist. I mean, we'll get into this whole shenanigan, but yeah. We connected more recently, actually, even in the point of recording this episode. But July 5th was our first time really working together. Adam, as a first time guest, though, something we ask every first timer to do is introduce yourself.
Sure.
So give some context, some background, and then we'll ask about how you connected to Ripe as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah, as you said, my name is Adam Sr. Truly being here today, I feel it kind of makes no sense with where my life was headed a couple years ago, which was definitely towards just death and towards destruction. I'll say I felt like I was very much chasing the world for so long. And part of that was just the creative pursuit of hip hop. And also trying to be kind of wise in my own eyes and a lot of stuff in terms of a podcast I was doing previously. So even just to have this moment of talking with you guys and it's in podcast form, which is something I love to do, is great. But it's to me, my life before all meant nothing truly without Jesus. And so it's just me coming here today is really just sharing, his glory and his blessing on my life, just to be able to have the opportunity to do this, which is so special. But it's the life he's given me, I think is truly the most special thing. I would say that's really the summary of who I am right now, is just, I'm trying to do my best to follow him in any space he's taken me.
It's amazing, man. Yeah, it's been such a privilege to hear your story. I think one of the things that has been so fun, a feedback that I get in life a lot in ministry, is you have a lot of people around you that just got saved or just placed their faith in Jesus. Where do you find these people? And I'm like, dude, I don't find anybody. God just weaves things together. But I think it's been really fun that so much of my life has been spending time with, investing in, talking to people who are a year into this whole Jesus thing, or 6 months in, or 2 years in, 3 years in, and just helping maybe shift one iota of trajectory, by a degree that 10 years from now is going to pay dividends in the kingdom in a big way. Really, really fun. It's such an encouragement, I think, for me as somebody who's been walking with Jesus a long time and got a kid and a wife and I'm tired all the time, and you can get into the mundane and the monotony. And then having like a relationship, a new friend that's like just on fire for Jesus and trying to make sense of stuff and asking all these questions and trying to figure out, how do I be a light for God in these kinds of spaces? Because I don't just want to abandon the world. I want to be a light in the world.
Yeah.
Like that stuff just warms my soul a lot. And so that's been a real joy for me personally in our friendship. Yeah. How can you tell the story? I guess we can peel it out together. How did we get connected? How'd you get connected to Ripe itself? Obviously, you did a podcast with Demir.
Yeah.
How'd you get connected with Demir in the first place?
Yeah. It's funny because I feel like I heard about Ripe like a year ago, and I kind of forgot about it. I don't even know how I stumbled upon it. It might have been just like on Instagram or something like that. But when I was saved in Souderton, Pennsylvania at Calvary Church.
Shout out to Calvary.
Yeah, shout out to Calvary indeed. Just so many great people there that just like gently shepherded me into the faith and just very much softened my heart. And one of the people I met there was a brother of mine named Caton Detweiler, who also is an artist. Goes by Caton, but Cayton. So definitely check out his music. But he was a mutual friend of Demir, who's on Ripe. And, actually it's funny because at Calvary, there were some elders there that were telling me, like, oh, you got to link up with Demir. And there's Jeremiah Link. I don't know if you...
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, New York.
Yeah. So I've yet to meet him, but everyone's saying we should meet. But, everyone was saying we should meet. And one night we went to go, me and some friends went to go to a Forrest Frank concert in Philly. And my friend had the tickets, like he purchased them, but we didn't have physical tickets, and we tried to just bring the receipt, but they wouldn't let us in. And so we were like, all right, well, let's just go visit Demir. And we just had a great night. And then I just told him about the podcast I was doing, interviewed him, and then a few months pass, and I'm just studying the word in this coffee shop, and I'm planting this idea of open mic night, which is just really just sharing the gospel creatively in different open mic spaces. And I'm sharing that idea at this coffee shop with someone who was just like, hey, like, what are you reading? I was like, the Bible. And he was like, oh, I used to be a pastor at Live in Hope in Dublin or something like that. And we get to talk, and he's like, you should, he's like, do you know Scott? And I think I shared this with you, and you didn't know who this person is.
Who's this person?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
But like, I think he's just so like plugged in to just like trying to make connections everywhere. Like, I think he just maybe met you like probably just in passing, and your name came up, but like your name kept just coming up.
That's humbling.
And then when I'm just telling Demir that story, and he's like, let's just call you. And then we spoke, I think one night for probably like 3 hours or so. And
sounds about right.
That sounds like a Scott conversation.
Yeah. And I was so very blessed by that conversation. I think just a lot of our visions were aligning, and I think I'm just trying to understand through how to just grow in this field, but also being properly discipled to not like go ahead of God in this, and just kind of really be patient on him. And I think that's what you've been like kind of showing me is just like the ins and outs so far of just like what really goes into this, and being patient on the Lord in it, truly. And also just like the value of just like relationships more so than the material things, right? Like this podcast is great, but I think what's even greater is just like the family nights like you have and the dinner, and just like first and foremost, like the foundation being Christ. Yeah,
it's really cool. Yeah, I mean, it's fun because I think knowing your heart, like you going out, like you doing the stuff that I've done for a long time. I do a lot less of it now, just with family mode. Like
I blame Levi.
Yeah, Levi's it's his fault. But there was a long time there, right? Like I was the guinea pig for Ripe Creatives as a ministry model of what does it look like to go out into the third space and be a light. All right, what does it go like to not just, hey, let's create events for the church, from the church to the church. We do that. We do that quite often, actually. But what does it look like to create events that invite the world in? And even more so than that, go to events where the world is already at and try to to be just a friend to people, try to build relationships with people. And that is a rare thing. Honestly, most Christian artists don't really think that way or operate that way. And that was one of the first things we talked about even in that initial conversation.
Yeah.
Where I was just kind of picking your brain, you know, trying to get to know your heart. And he's like, well, what's this about? Like, what do you mean by that? Why are you going to this? And it's like, you just started to like talk about evangelism without like, I went through a class for evangelism, right? Like just this heart of like, God saved my life. He changed my heart. I know what it feels like to be loved and to have my identity secure. I want everybody else to know this, and especially people who are caught up in what I just came out of.
Yeah.
And that's a real rare gift, man, because so often people are, when they get saved, there's like, I need to separate myself from this. This is evil, dark, twisted, demonic. I don't want anything to do with it. And it takes years before they actually feel a level of confidence to step into a space and not get pulled away, you know? And your heart has just been to go out and be a light, be an evangelist, right? Through your artistry, through your hip hop, through your poetry. And yeah, dude, whenever I find people like that, I'm like, yo, I'm going to ride or die with this guy because that's my heartbeat is like not just doing things internally, but how do we be a light to others? So, but getting to this July 5th shenanigan, we were at the Bridge Coffee, Levittown. I have some stories I can share in a minute, but how did you get connected to them? Because you live nowhere near there.
Yeah.
Like, what in the world? How did you end up at the bridge in Levittown?
Yeah. It makes no sense. Only God is like how I make sense of it. But I'll just share a little backstory. Andrea and I knew each other in community college in 2009 at Bucks County Community College.
Andrea is the manager of the coffee shop.
Yeah, to clarify, a little backstory there. So the Bridge Coffee Shop, Levittown, Pennsylvania, it was started by the pastor and the congregation at Restoration Church, also in Levittown. And so that was just kind of something they helped create to literally be like a bridge for the community, have people come in and just get a cup of coffee and hopefully, you know, hear about Jesus. And I know they're doing Bible studies there every first and third Friday. And I guess that's ultimately how Andrea, the manager there, she found me on Facebook and invited me to this Bible study. And again, I was like, wow, I knew her in college. And I didn't know she knew the Lord, and I don't think she knew I did. And I just got this invite, and I was like, oh yeah, I gotta go see her and see what this is about. And I just drove and was just very blessed by the Bible study there. And then a few weeks later, she reached out to me and said, like, I have this idea. I think I want to bring like more music and like worship to the coffee shop. And we just like brainstormed. And, you know, this happened in the midst of meeting Demir, meeting you. And it was just like, well, I mentioned just Ripe Creatives. And she was like, well, we like to usually try to do something that gives back to like a charity of some sort. And what is it, a 401c?
501c.
501c.
Yep.
Yeah, and she's like, well, they're a 501c. It's like, why don't we just like, you know, like give back to Ripe? And then I think, yeah, again, like it was just, I reached out to you. You gave me guidance of like what the event could look like. And we just kind of showed up and executed. Yeah, it was really just mainly God just bringing Andrea and I back together. And then through that, just sharing our testimony. And this idea came to life.
Yeah. Shout out to Andrea. I did not realize that's what it was. I thought like you were with somebody who loves Jesus and they were like, I know this coffee shop. I had no idea it was like the actual manager, Andrea. Yeah. You guys have this history together, and she's got a wild testimony of transformation as well. I won't share her story for her, but we wish she was on the podcast to do that. And maybe one day we'll get her. Yeah. But I have a very weird crossover connection to the Bridge from years ago. Because Jenny Bollinger, shout out to Jenny B, from Newcastle, Pennsylvania, where I grew up, was on the board of Ripe Creatives, has since stepped back because we're trying to have a hyper-localized board in Philadelphia now, and we want to do meetings in person and stuff. She just obviously can't do that from 6 hours away. But Jenny's a part of the Converge network, is on staff with Converge. She used to be the missions director at my home church. the church that still supports Ripe Creatives and me and my family more than any other entity in the country, is First Baptist Church of Newcastle. Jenny was a missions director there, and Waze was like a forming person for me going into missions. And so she was on our board. And she knows, is it Ross?
Yeah, Pastor Ross at Restoration.
Ross and Emily.
Yep.
Emily works with Converge. Ross is under, I think, a Converge network as a pastor. She had been telling me about Ross and Emily and the bridge before it even opened. And the bridge is actually like Jenny's like branding thing. That's like her whole heart is like, we as believers are bridges, you know?
Yeah.
She's like done all this stuff. So I guarantee even some of that bridge branding was from Jenny and their relationship, because they speak that language so well. But she was telling me for a while, like, go to the bridge. But I was looking at the map and I was like, Levittown's not close. Like, it's not Philadelphia. And I was viewing it more through the lens of Creatives Philly. And I was like, we're not creating Creatives Levittown. We're not leaving Philadelphia. So because it wasn't for everything, I just moved on. Like, I never really followed through to have a meeting. But then whenever you come in and you're like, hey, you know, blah, 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 I'm thinking about doing this fundraiser thing at this coffee shop I know, it's in Levittown. And I was like, Adam, is it called The Bridge? You're like, yes. I was like, dang, okay. Yeah, we got to do this.
Yeah.
Because it was like years in the making. Coffee shop's a couple years old, 3 years old, something like that.
Yeah.
So it had to be like 4 years ago that they were telling me about that place.
Yeah. It's funny just to think like that the Lord knew this was going to happen since like 2009, you know, and all the life that I walked through and we all walked through just for that event to happen, you know, is just wild to think about from my perspective. But also just, the seeds already planted, that it seems like, when the Lord wants to breathe on it, he will. And like, it seems like that's what happened.
The long game.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I know some people who had done events that she was talking about where they like give back. I had a friend, Andrew Narvaez, who's come to a couple creatives. He had done some event. I don't know what the specific nonprofit he picked was, but it was something regarding mental health. And we're probably about to talk about it, but we had a meeting there and I didn't realize it was the same place. I'm looking around, then I pull up his Instagram. I'm like, this is the same shop.
Yeah, shout out to Andrew Narvaez. Yeah, we got together in May. So as much as I'd heard of the bridge and been like, you should go to the bridge, I'd never been there until our meeting. Yeah. That was my first time going there. In Levittown, it's a little coffee shop. Shout out to the bridge. Make sure you follow them. And more than follow them, go there. Because the food's actually good.
Food's great.
Coffee's great. And the people are even better.
Yeah.
But we meet there, I think, you know, late May, early June, whatever it was. And we picked the date. Hey, we're going to do July 5th, which was a little crazy, to be honest, because July 5th is the day after July 4th. But I guess that helped us a little bit because there wasn't as much on our calendar to get this thing done. But from your side, Adam, like Lamb Jam, open mic, this is your baby, right? We had some expertise and some background and some artists and tech, and like, we know how to throw an event. Yeah. But Lamb Jam as a vision, like, what is that? And how did this line up with what you originally envisioned?
Hold on. Can you explain Hope and Mike? Because I thought it was a typo in the notes real quick.
Yeah. Well, I'll just share, like, my background for so long was just a rapper going to a lot of open mic nights. Like, I remember, like, probably, like, before COVID, that was kind of my life after work, was just going to different open mic spaces, seeking validation so much from the world in these spaces. And, you know, definitely, like, building something, like, in terms of just a craft. But it was an interesting experience of just, I think, the open mic space in general. Like, I used to go to this place called Time in Philly a lot. I went to the Fire a lot, and then a bunch of spots in Bucks County. And that was kind of it. Like, I was just like the open mic artist. And then so after being saved and just like kind of writing more stuff for the Lord, and being kind of encouraged to go back into the spaces, I was sharing with a neighbor of mine when I was living in Percy, and I was like, hey, I just got back from an open mic night. And he goes, Hope and Mic night? And I go, no, but like that, I love that. I love that as like at least the foundation and the mission of what I'm trying to do in these spaces, which is just spread the hope of the gospel, ultimately creatively. And so like I just started to just do that a little bit more. Any open mic space I would go, and like would have like really interesting conversations afterwards. So that's, to me, like that was like I thought like maybe that's what I could bring to the bridge. But as I was also doing that just kind of by myself, I had this idea from reading this book called If Jesus Was a Rapper by the artist Celis Hamilton.
Yeah.
And he mentioned in the book that he would get
I know Celis.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'd love to link up with him at some point.
Yeah, be happy to get in touch.
That's amazing. But I actually had like a conversation with him. He has, I forget what he runs, but he tries to sew into artists as well and help them develop. And I had like a consultation with him and got his book and was reading about how he got together with some friends and was reading Romans, and through reading Romans came up with the concept of the Roman, which was just an album they put out together after just reading through it. And I said like, hey, to all my friends, I said, what if we did that? All my creative friends, like, what if we just get together, get in the Word, and then just see what happens creatively? And so I was calling that Lamb and Jam.
Yeah.
And then so it was just like we get in the Word, the Lamb of God, and then see what happens after. And so like we kept trying to meet up and have that work, but when I presented that name to Andrea, she was like, well, what's this? I love that name. And then Lamb and Jam just became Lamb Jam. And like Hope and Mic Night, I think I'm still going out to mainly this one open mic spot in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. And just like, I've had my own ideas of how it's supposed to go, but then the Lord is just making it go completely different than my expectations. And it's been so blessed in terms of just different artists I'm meeting. And I feel like Hope and Mic Night is a great way to just go out, see the other laborers out there, other artists doing their thing, that hopefully that can, be the artists for the next Lamb Jam moving forward.
Yeah.
And so it just seems like, the Hope and Mic is more like evangelizing and then just meeting other believers in the field. And then Lamb Jam maybe being the event where we come together and just, bless people in the community.
That's dope. I really appreciate how open-handed you've been with everything. Because I think a lot of times when people are young in their faith and God gives them a vision, there's like, well, this is the vision. I wrote it down and you made it plain and now it has to happen exactly like this.
Yeah.
It's like, dog, that's not how faith works. Like, that's not how God does anything.
Yeah.
Like the one that I love is like, he tells Joshua, right? Like what's going to happen with the Jericho, but Joshua relays the information to the people and it's very much like, just do this next thing. Like he doesn't tell the whole story from the beginning. Like he's just relaying one piece of information. Yeah. Because I think that's more normal in our faith walk is like we just get the next piece of information.
Right.
You catch a vision, you catch a thing, and then you got to be open-handed about it.
Yeah.
Like we've done that with creatives for 7 years. Like, God, do you want us to shut this down? Do you want us to keep it doing? God, should we do these? Should we do these? Should we do this? Should we do this? Should we do this? Should we do this? Like, we're very open-handed. Good soils, we think they're amazing. But if we can't get everybody in the room to do one, we can't do one, right? So it's like you're just open-handed about it. You have this, I want it to look this way. I feel like this could really work. But at the end of the day, it's like, all right, God's going to do what he wants with all of these things, these brands and names and ideas and concepts, concerts and series. Like, he can take it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, boil this thing back down to the roots. For us, it's the community aspect. It's the relationships. It's friendships. It's diving deep into like making sure people are healthy, you know, internally and externally. For you, it's like Lamb Jam, man, I want to just get in the Word and create. Okay, that's not what the Lamb Jam was on July 5th.
No.
But that doesn't mean that that's not going to be an outcome from Lamb Jam looking the way that it did.
Right.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
So just because like what you envisioned isn't what it is, doesn't mean that the outcomes aren't going to be the exact same.
Yeah.
Because that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I'm like, God showed me like it was better than anything I could have ever thought of, right? And it was just seeking first Him and Him doing the rest. Like I feel like I didn't really lift much of a finger, other than just have faith. And that's what that's what that event really showed me, was like, because I think if I was seeking, like, man, I can't wait to put this event on and kind of making it more about myself, like, maybe it would have happened, but I don't think there would be much fruit from that.
Yeah.
In terms of possibly having another one coming up. But again, like, same thing. It's like, yeah, I have faith that another one is in the works, and I know there's a lot of interest. But it's just like, I'm going to do it the same way, to seek first the Lord and just trust like in His timing with it all. And it's just like, you know, maybe it's a flop, the second one, and it's like, it's back to the drawing board. But regardless, it's just like showing up in faith and surrendering, I think, to your point. And you said that multiple times that I've talked to you, like how many times you've surrendered. And then it's just, He keeps giving it back. And it just clearly, like, it's just like God's definitely breathing on it. And I think that surrender is such a part of it. Mm-hmm. And saying, it's just like, hey, it's just like, yeah, it's not about so much the event as the hearts in the event.
Right.
And that's what was so foundational to me, of just even the Lamb Jam itself was just like, there was one guy there that you know, came up afterwards and you know, felt like a calling to there, and he kind of repented and started going back to church. And
it's beautiful.
I was just like, wow, like if it was all for that just one sheep, like, praise the Lord, like that's what this is about.
Yeah, man. Yeah, listen, we're going to talk about this impact and outcomes. Let's talk about the night itself. So
Yeah.
we did the planning in May, June, and I think it was adorable to like watch you, Andrea, and Ross kind of like in that space. And again, you being open handed, they're like, so I think we should have like worship, and you're like, yeah, I think we should have worship. I was just like, all right, was this ever talked about? Like, and then, because my thinking was more like third space, like it's a church,
Yeah.
but this coffee shop has been built to be evangelistic.
Yeah.
I figured it would be more like a Two Lines event or a Creatives Philly event or, you know, Radiant Shade or the Underground, like something that's more third space. Now, it wasn't, and that's okay. Like the church has the right to be like, no, it needs to look this way. But immediately you guys were like, man, I have friends that do worship stuff. Let me talk to them.
Yeah.
Who were those people that you got from the worship side?
Yeah. So that was two just great friends I've been walking with for about maybe like 3 months now. Just phenomenal artists. But ultimately, like, just they both love the Lord, and they're on the worship team at Emmanuel Church in Lansdale, Pennsylvania. And yeah, I know, like, the one in particular, her name was Jordan, who was the lead singer that night. And it was cool. I felt like in terms of just the first worship team, it was very simple. It was just 2 acoustic guitars and vocals, and worship music. And there's also an original worship song thrown in there. So I felt like they really set the tone well. But yeah, it was Jordan and Matt. Not I would say, like, in terms of like a full set worship band, I did like how like stripped down it was with them. But yeah, it's just 2 people that love music, love the Lord, and want to express themselves a little bit more creatively in different spaces like this as well.
Wasn't it them that you joined them for one song, just for a verse?
I did, yeah. I did a little rap on the one song. Yeah,
it was cool. It worked, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kicked things off. The going back even to the planning meeting, I remember you kind of were just like, yeah, like we're going to do this to support Ripe, and do you think any Ripe people would want to come? And I was like,
yeah.
Well, I mean, you're not necessarily booking them. But I was like, I can always ask.
Yeah.
Like the last, worst case scenario is they can say no.
Yeah.
And I kind of said, like, who would you want?
Yeah.
And you were just like, well, Abel would be great, obviously, if he's free. And I think he was out of town with family for the 4th. And you were like, I think Craig would be great.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a thing where it was like, if Craig isn't available, then you would do it. Mm-hmm. But you kind of were open-handed, right?
Yep.
Again, like, if Craig's available, I'd love to have him.
Yeah.
I think it'd be great to have him and me not be an artist that night because I'll do something with them.
Yeah.
But for Craig to do his thing. And then you were like, the poets. You were like, I love Jake. Which makes sense because you kind of have a similar delivery when you do poetry stuff as Jake. And then Sergine, you talked about Sergine.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll hit him up. And then singers-wise, you're like, Leah Wrenne, loved her. Because you saw these people at the episode we just did, Worship Fest, or Good Stuff Fest.
Good Stuff, yeah.
You saw all of them there.
Yeah.
And then we're planning Lamb and Jam a couple months later, and it's like, I would love any of these people. Yeah. And whoever's available, I'll take.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was one after another. Like, Jake and Sergine were both like immediate yeses. Sergine actually lives out towards Levittown. She's in Northeast Philly, so she's a little closer. And then Craig said yes. And Leah said yes as well, even though Leah had a gig that day. Yeah. She actually left there to come to this. So our crew was that. And then Jarrett, being the greatest thing ever, decided to give up his system and his time and his energy and love to come set up the whole thing.
And also, you can't forget DJ Ant.
Yes, Ant
that,
came
that
out
was
too.
That was a late edition.
That was a late edition, and it was up in the air until like he pulled up that day.
Oh yeah, like, when we did the planning meeting, I called Jarrett. I mean, Jarrett was there. I called Ant on the way out because I was like, if we can get Ant, that would be helpful. And he laughed at me and hung up.
I remember that. I was not expecting to see him.
He was like,
at all.
Saturday, July 5th, and hung up on me. And I was like, all right. Because, I mean, I ask a lot of Ant in general. I mean, but also, like, try to be very cautious with his weekends and stuff. I mean, same with Jarrett. They know. Like, I want to do stuff, Mondays and Tuesdays, dead days, as best we possibly can because there's so few weekends to give up.
Yeah.
That for them, this is what they do professionally. So, yeah, when I said Saturday, July 5th, he just laughed at me and hung up. So I never expected Ant to come, but he came.
Doing it in July was helpful, honestly, because like the whole wedding thing that like we both will work within, like July normally is a heavy dip and it will come back mid-August usually because think about it, those are the two hottest months. Most of the time, if people are doing a wedding, they love doing it outside if they're doing it in that time of year. It's awful if you're outside that time of year. So everybody kind of like dips down around that time unless they're trying to take a huge
You also
gamble.
had your wedding.
Yes.
2 weeks later.
But we got very lucky with the weather that day. That was like the best day in July.
But I'm saying you were more available.
Yeah.
Because you weren't trying to fly out of the country to go run sound for somebody's wedding.
It was strategic because I was trying to keep everything in July local if I had to, just because of preparation for that.
Yes. So it worked out to get Jarrett.
Yeah.
And ended up clutching it. And then you guys got one other worship team, I think, right?
Yeah, it was the team at Calvary in Levittown.
Shout out to Calvary. They were dope at the end. And Ross preached.
Yes.
Which was a unique thing
yes.
to have in like an artist worship event in a coffee shop was like an actual sermon.
Yeah.
But that was part of the Lamb Jam aspect of it, I think.
Right. And that's what I think for me, like definitely continue. Like hopefully, Lord willing, is definitely making sure to have a message in the middle to just make sure like the focus is the focus. So that was very very blessed by that word that day.
It was great. Shout out to Ross. Let's get into the actual sets, like the moments of the night, July 5th.
Yeah.
I think the shop closes around 3:00 in the afternoon. Jarrett was there at 3:01.
I was gonna say like 3:05.
3:05, setting up. I was there probably a half hour later, and everything was already set up because that's how Jarrett rolls.
It was a small event. That was easy to set up.
All the artists come through, do their sound checks, all that kind of stuff. And then I think we had a meeting with like a powwow in the side room with about 20-ish people.
Yeah,
that were all there.
Spilled out of the room.
High expectations, praying for the event, praying for the artists who are going to perform, and just for the outcomes. Like, may God be honored and glorified. And this was the first one.
Yeah, doors
open, people start coming.
Yeah.
And we get into the whole thing. What do you remember in terms of like the run of show stuff? We already talked about the opening worship team, but after that?
Yeah. Well, I remember like I was like, am I supposed to be an artist or the host? Like that was like kind of, and it was Leah wasn't. It was like kind of she was on the fence a little bit.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that
because like she wasn't feeling well too. So I was like, oh man, like, am I getting ready to also maybe perform, or am I taking the host seat? And so like, I know I kept kind of just checking in with you. I was like, hey, like, is this it? Like, I'm going to be the MC for the evening. And you're just like, yeah, like, do your thing. Like, and like, I don't know, it was nice to just have you there, of just kind of like, all right, like, I know this is the run of show, but like, thoughts here. And like, you kind of were just like that great encourager. And like, yeah, I think as soon as I hit the mic, it was just like, all right. And that's the thing, like, right, we know as artists, it's like, there is that initial, like, I have no idea how this is going to go. And then it's just like, you're speaking, and it's like, all right, I'm either going to speak or not. And so it's just like, I just surrendered it completely to the Lord. And he took a lot of your advice for just like, you know, making sure who to thank for the day, and you know, ultimately just giving thanks to the Lord. And as soon as it started, it was just like, I felt just like God in it, and it was just like, it was like all the confidence, and like even just moments where I was like, I don't even know if I said that perfectly, but nevertheless, like God was glorified in it. And you know, it was just real special, and it was like such a cool, just unique first time experience of just like helping just facilitate and host the night. Like, I almost felt like I enjoyed that more than performing, which was just new to me.
Yeah. I mean, I love hosting and emceeing. And I just felt like it was really, really, really important for you to be that person. Yeah. Personally, like, this is your thing. This is your baby. This is like, you're launching something, and people need to interact with you the most to kind of get a gauge of, oh, when I come back, like, you're the safe person. Right. And you're also the person who's probably going to care the most to follow up with people and to share Jesus with folks, and to get involved in actual deep relationship with a handful of people, right? Yeah. So, like, you need to be the person that they see in this place of authority and leadership on it. I thought you did a great job. Yeah. Especially for like it being one of the first times you've done it. Yeah. You know, you're just, and the humility. I mean, the open-handedness, man. I said it 10 times. I'll probably say it 10 more before this episode's up. But just how open-handed you were with everything, even towards me, of like, hey, now would be a great time to like thank the DJ for coming, right? Hey, now's a great time to thank Topmop Productions and, you know, the sacrifice they made to make sure that this night happens. Okay, now would be a great time to shout out that the artist has something coming up that's released, right? Yeah. And it's like, you just were like, yeah, thanks for the help. You know? So it's like, it was very much like a team game. Yeah. And I really appreciate it. But let's get into some of those artist sets real quick, just to highlight. For sure. Craig Watson.
I was blown away by Craig. And it's funny because, like, you did give me the option. You were like, well, it's either like Craig's in, but he wasn't. And so, like, there was like this opportunity for me to be like, you know what? No, I'm going to perform. And I think like that would have been fine, you know, and I was preparing like a set. But then like I sought the Lord in it, and he was like, just give it to Craig. I am so happy I got to see him, and like I felt like he was definitely the guy for the night. And like, you know, I've since talked to Craig a little bit more after, and like I'm just like, man, I just see such such breath on him from the Lord with what he's doing, and the way he just like I felt like the perfect, at least first rapper to hit that bridge stage for that night. Was just like undeniable. It was just like, wow, like I just felt like, his style was like so contagious. His joy was so contagious. And he just like really just like made, I think he really set the tone for the joy in the room. Yes. That night.
He tends to do that. Yeah. He's fantastic. I mean, we say it on this podcast every time he comes up. He's world class. Like
he got the charisma.
He's so good, and he's just getting started. It's going to be so fun to watch where he goes. But at the end of his set, he did a freestyle. Yeah. And it was like, I remember that. It was dope. He, you know, the words, McDonald's, serve, word, glory. And he just, remember, he hit all the words like in order. Yeah. Go ahead, Craig. Like, look at you. Like, when he does that, it means he's super comfortable.
Yeah.
Like that he's just eating it up. Because it's a risk to do it, right? It's
Yeah.
a risk to be like,
100%.
I'm a freestyle. I might fumble this so hard. But if he feels that free and that engaged, like with the audience, like he's just like, okay, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Like it's not like a pre-planned all the time. I know I'm going to freestyle, you know?
Yeah. I remember when he said he was going to do that, I looked at you and I was like, does he do this? And you were like, we'll see.
Sometimes. He did it at Breakaway on the last day. And he's done it a few other times as well that I've seen. He's great, but
Yeah.
it's a risk.
It is a risk.
It is a risk to be like, okay, I'm going to scrap one of my writtens and I'm going to do this instead.
Yeah.
And hopefully create a moment out of it. And he did. I mean, it was just, it was a
was.
blast. People loved it. Shout out to Craig. Poets, Jake Sergine.
Yeah. Yeah. That was, to me, like, I'll say I've been super inspired by Jake in particular and Sergine. But, like, just, the spoken word. I just think that really, when you're taking the music out and it's just all you get to hear is just words, and it's just such a testimony. I aspire truly to kind of just like flow like them, and you, Scott, as well. It's like it's truly something special that I never thought I would have even had the desire for. But just hearing it more and more is just like amazing, and they're again so perfect in terms of also the flow of the night. I think of where you Scott just recommended to position them, and just going back to back in that way too was just such a blessing.
Yeah, I mean, we could have done it a bunch of different ways.
Yeah,
but I think it was about wanting to separate them as poets from Ross's preaching.
Yeah.
Because I think that's where things can get a little too like, that's a lot of words.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so it was like split them with Leah as a melodic singer-songwriter that's going to just melt everybody's faces off, which we'll get to, into the preached word and then worship after.
Yeah.
Let's bring the pose. But I also don't think it's always best to start with spoken word
Yeah.
in an event where it's a first event ever. People are like, what is this? I guess we came out for this. Andrea told me to come. Ross told me to come. I'm here. And we want to win them. Like, let's go high energy early. So it just kind of, from that end, it made sense to go Craig, poetry, Leah, preaching, worship.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm curious just how it was experienced. I know it was like such a blessing to everyone who came and was just in the audience. But like, I know for me, like, expecting the night to go that way. Like, I think if I was just like, oh, like I'm going to a worship night and I'm just expecting music, and then the music stops and it's just like, oh, wow. Oh, okay. Like you have like, I feel like it forces you to have ears to hear.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, okay, like what's happening right now, versus it just being like, here's a poetry night. But just like pause and it's like, hey, now we're going to go into spoken word.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. Like it just shifts your ears.
Yeah, I think that's been our heart, is like we are a cross-genre ministry as Ripe. And when, you know, you're like, hey, see who's available. But for us, the value of it is like the people who love hip-hop get exposed to poetry. And the people who love poetry get exposed to a singer. Yeah. And that value is, like, it's not quantifiable. You can't put it on a spreadsheet. But that stuff helps our culture so much for the arts to get a greater value in the church, because at least in the church, everybody knows what it means to sing worship songs, because every church sings worship songs. A lot of churches don't understand stuff like poetry, and poetry can be a stepping stone to something like hip hop as well. Like, so it's exposing people. There's probably some people in that room who like never really listened to poetry before that night. Yeah. Probably went home on YouTube and like, I got to find some poetry, you know, trying to find Jake Doggett stuff right now. And that's always a good value for an event like that. I thought they both killed it.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, definitely.
Well,
Multiple snaps.
Yeah, snaps. After them was Leah.
Leah, yeah. When I saw her at Good Stuff, I was like, wow, like, I just want her voice to be heard in so many more spaces. And I think like just the acoustic, just right. I would say like Christian music, but not like almost like traditional worship. Right. I would say like I would put her in like almost like a Madison Ward or like Sarah. Is it Jewers or Jewers?
Yeah.
Almost in that category. And I just think like the type of music she's making, Leah. I just think particularly for people that have been like church hurt maybe, and don't want to hear just about like the blood of Jesus so much, right? And I just think that kind of just more like top 40 traditional like worship songs is like, it's that type of music I think really gets people hopefully just kind of thinking about God again, thinking about Jesus again, that otherwise may have been stepped away from the faith. And so I think like artists like her in particular are so important to just have in these type of nights and bringing out into also like just a random open mic spot of just like, oh, like, was that about Jesus? Or it's just like, oh, like that song wasn't just like preaching at you. It was like this true testimony. And it was beautiful. And right, it was glorifying God. It was beautiful. It was original. And I think it just helps connect human to human more so. And that was like such a blessing that she was able to do it. And yeah, I remember, I think she was one of the first artists I asked directly. I was like, hey, like, I had this idea for this event. I said, like, I just feel like you'd be perfect. And then I just remember I planted that seed and you said she was in. I was like, praise the Lord.
Yeah, she is. She's absolutely amazing. And you're right. I mean, it's like speaking a different language. You know, she has the ability to connect with folks in a vastly different place.
She's so humble about it too. And I think that's
annoyingly,
the reason. Yeah.
Annoyingly meek.
Yeah. Which I think that's why that works for her. And she's connecting the way she does is because of that. I think that God is really using that humble heart posture in her. But I'm not going to be surprised if, she's receiving a Grammy one day and it's just like, this isn't about me. And it's like, yeah, you're right. But God bless you.
Absolutely. Yeah, she deserves one.
Yeah.
And her songwriting is out of this world. I've never met somebody who writes songs as well as she writes. I met a lot of artists over the last 20 years. I don't think I've ever met anybody that can write songs the way she does. It's very reminiscent for me of Abel as a hip-hop lyricist, like his ability to just write another verse, write it like instantaneous. It's a gift. Like, I'm not saying that he doesn't have to work for it. He does, but his writing is so natural. It's Leah with songwriting. It's the same thing. I mean, she does it late night tea and Tuesdays. Yeah. Every week.
You can literally watch her writing process.
And she takes a message on a tea bag and writes a song.
Wow.
Right there in front of you. And she does this every week. And I know that part of it is like she's trying to show people that you can do this. You can write a song. You have the ability. She's like a coaching. Yeah. But there is a innate gift in her that is otherworldly.
She thinks she's helping people learn in reality. Frustrating people because they're just like, it's not that easy.
It is for her. She does word webs and the whole thing right in front of you. It's incredible. Jayla, too, misspoken poet. You haven't met her yet. Right poet. But her ability to write, it's just like, geez, oh man. Yeah. You know, certain people just have that. I do not. I can write, but it's like sitting down and being inspired to the nth degree. People like that, I mean, they're just like, this is my time to write, and now I will finish an entire poem or song or verse, you know, right now, because this is my gift. Yeah. Shout out to Leah. After Leah got into Ross's message and then into the last worship set, anything around either of those things?
Yeah, I mean, I think to me it was just the perfect message for that night. by Ross. And I think like, I know for me with just the worship team, I remember like being in the meeting room, and like usually like I'm always so afraid to like put my like hands up and like really be in the spirit, for whatever reason. Like I feel like sometimes it feels like not authentic, but like I could not help myself. I remember with the worship team there, of just like I was just like just reflecting on just the blessing of the whole night, and it was just like I thought they really just like they were the perfect closer in terms of just like having a full band. And I think, just having the message and then ending with that, I think was just like, that was the perfect way to end it, with just kind of more of a traditional, I'd say, expectation of like what you're going to for worship night for like people that are like really in the church. And so I thought they did a phenomenal job and just like blessed that stage. But I remember just like, I've never felt more worshipful than the end of that night, with just like, wow, like I can't believe this event happened. And just like how, and I was just so grateful that again, it was truly about Jesus, and like, there was no, I would say like anything other than it just surrendering the night to him in that way. And like, it was, what was received, I think, was just so much joy, love, and peace. Yeah.
It was really beautiful. It was fun to watch you watch it. Being in that mindset of, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, this is getting to experience what my wife has experienced with me at an event or something, you know, like,
yeah.
where she's like, oh, I just love seeing you get joy out of something going well.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of grief when they don't go well, you know. I can be like cynical and in my head about the ways that things could have been better.
Yeah.
And part of that is healthy from an excellence standpoint, but part of that is, man, like, just enjoy, have childlike enjoyment of God's goodness in a room, you know. And like, I didn't have any pressure on me at Lamb Jam, because I was at the door with the right table, passing out flyers, being a goober. I loved every second of watching you enjoy it.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say something.
Oh, I was just thinking about how, like, you can be very overly critical, but you were, like, just cracking up that night. It was funny, like, how much you were just making jokes in the back with people.
Yeah, I feel like we were, because Sergine did something funny. She did the poem over Doc Hero's track, which to anybody who hasn't heard Doc Hero's track would think that this is what this goes to, that the music was written to her poem. But as somebody who knows Doc Hero's track, like, it is the most like aggressive part of one of his opening songs, is Promised Land. Like, a lot going on, can't blink for a second. So me and Craig were saying the lines back and forth to each other, like, while she's performing, which is so disrespectful. But we couldn't help it, because it was like so funny that she's doing this like beautiful orator poem over like one of the hardest tracks in Doc Hero's catalog, where he's just going nuts. Like, to the outside eye, you would never think it's funny, but we were just dying.
It was pretty funny, because you're like, oh yeah, we were in the back of the room, but you were in the like back section of halfway up the room, because there was like the seats were set like a little bit skinnier, and then there's a wider section. You were at the back of the wider section, so still half the room is behind you watching you two do that.
Yeah, we're cutting up. I just had a blast. I loved every second of it. It was really fun.
I will say, like, something I was very surprised about during the event, you know, because I was like, I wasn't sure how to, like, I wanted to make sure like people are hearing DJ Ant too. And so it was like, I wasn't sure like how to best go about the evening in terms of just like when the transitional music was playing. And I chose to just start kind of like dancing a little bit and just like trying to get the hype, or the crowd hype with just like the music he was playing. And that was just funny. But I also remember like really, this woman came up to me and was like, hey, it's my son's birthday. So like, do you think you could like do like a happy birthday shout out in the middle? And I was like, sure. And I went to Ant and I was like, hey, you know, at some point I want to like pause and like do a happy birthday. And he was like, okay. And he's like, just let me know when. I was like, okay. And I stepped away, and I was like, you know what? I said, what would be? I was like, yeah, it's this DJ. Like, let's play Stevie Wonder's like "Happy Birthday" to you. And I just remember like just loving, like I was just like utilizing the DJ there, and was just so blessed to have him there in that way of just like. I think that really added to even more of the substance of the event. Yes. Was just like, and that added to, I think, the joy of the event of just like, I had no idea like that's what I was going to do. But just like, yeah, when I heard Forrest Frank, I was like, I love this song. I was like, let me just have fun up here. And I think like once that hit, it was just like that set the tone also for the night, and just reflecting on that was really cool.
I thought you up there dancing was you thinking that it was too loud so no one was going to hear you. So I kept turning it down thinking you're waiting for the music come down to start talking.
I mean, it was just like, yeah, like I'm like, am I being disrespectful with like being like, all right, like I was just like, what's the play here in terms of just because I don't want
in the water,
to,
man.
Like the music is good, like it should be heard just as much as all of our music. So that was fun.
It's like double Dutch, you know. Like you just
catch the rhythm,
just catch that rhythm, and you jump in. And
yeah,
the Ant is so talented, and he's so aware that like he's gonna play off of you.
Yeah,
you're never gonna be in conflict with him.
Yeah,
I was telling, I think I said it even on one of these podcasts. I think me and Ant have not been on the same page one time in 10 years of doing events together. One time where he was like not at the DJ rig whenever he should have been, or whenever I thought he should have been, but he didn't know he needed to be there. And I was like, what the heck, bro? Where were you? He's like, dude, you need to give me a list of what times you want me up there. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. But I mean, most of the time we don't even do that, but we're still so in sync. So you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But having Ant was a very much an upgrade to the experience. Yeah. And I knew it wasn't practical to bank on him being there, but when he showed up, praise God for Ant. I just want to give a little bit of space just around the impact. You already told one story about the guy.
Oh yeah.
Who came, and you know, praise God for that. I mean, that could be what it was all for.
Yeah.
But just, are there any other maybe conversations you even heard from Andrea or others from the coffee shop of what they felt about it? I know it was a blessing for us, Ripe Creatives, and I'll speak to that too, but just want to give you a chance if you have any other stories of impact, because that's ultimately what it's about.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, the one guy that sought me after, who I was sitting next to the whole night, and I just thought, yeah, he just came for the event. But his story was, he thought there was a AA meeting there that night, and he said he felt like such a call to the shop, and he thought that was the reason why. And he was like, you know what? Like, if I'm not feeling it, you know, I'll just get a cup of coffee and bounce. And he walked in, and it was not an AA meeting.
Yeah, it was chaos.
It was a worship night and self-expression night, all about Jesus. And he just stayed for the whole night.
I'm just imagining him thinking the whole night's an AA meeting. He's like, wow, there's a lot of people here.
Yeah, when are they going to share about their addictions?
Why is this kid? This kid looks young to need to go to an AA meeting.
He's got to be 17 years old.
Yeah. But like, I remember because we set the meeting space, or like the side room, and just like that was supposed to be the prayer room. And like, I was really praying, like, I really pray like this room gets utilized for that. And I remember just kind of just making sure I said that at the end. It's just like, hey, like, I was like, hey, the prayer room's here. I was like, I know I need prayer for some stuff, so I might actually go here and receive prayer, but like anybody. And it was just, you know, it was that guy, and then another woman came to me afterwards as well. And I know like everyone was kind of cleaning up, and just being able to hear their story and just be able to pray with both of them that night, I was like, this is truly just like, talk about impact. I was like, you know, there was a part of me that thought like maybe we could have a little bit more numbers, a little bit maybe more tickets sold, but like in terms of like a kingdom impact, like that was everything. And then I know like there was apparently a woman that inquired. She was just like, "Do you do this every month?" And it was like, at this point, no. But and she's like, I'm an artist. Like, I love the Lord. And like, I've been looking for like open mic spaces. And so it was like, definitely. And we're just getting more and more people. Andrew keeps telling me more and more people just keep asking her about Lamb Jam. But like, yeah, the fact that people are craving it and we're blessed by it. And that also someone came to faith back in Christ. The guy I'm mentioning, he was going to church for a while and then he left the faith and, it was coming back. And, it was just like, wow, like, Lord, like, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was like he set up this whole event just to reach him, and it's just like, to me, when I just think of that, like, if this reaches truly one person, despite, the financial or material success of it, it's like that's worth rejoicing about. Yes. And I'd be I'm sure there's other hearts affected as well that we don't know about.
Right. Yeah. I think one of the beautiful things from my vantage point, other than just having a good time, I'm of the mindset that I don't want to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
Like, when other people want to do stuff, I am all for partnering, even if it's a loss. Right? Even if it's like, well, I need to pay these artists out of my own pocket, right? Or whatever, like whatever the situation might be. Because to me, that's kingdom. And if you are responsible to do everything to create all the events in a region, like, there's only going to be X amount of events that happen in that region. And especially in a context that's not our own. Like, to us, it was like, okay, it's probably not sustainable for us to do this every time.
Right.
But we can at least help them get started.
Yeah.
Right? Like, let's be a trampoline for Adam and Lamb Jam to bounce off of, where we give them access to talent and artists and information and perspective and gear and Jarrett and then Ant as well. And just like the expertise of it all.
Yeah.
Like, let's give this away and see what happens. And you have to do another one. Like, not because of us, but,
right.
Pay the dividend of the kingdom back.
Yep.
Into being intentional. And like, even if it's just one story like that guy coming back to faith, I mean, that is 100% worth it. Yeah. There is no question. There's a stewardship thing and resources and what's sustainable and what you can do, what you can't do. Like, you're going to have to book somebody like Jarrett every time. You're going to buy equipment. Like, there's all those bigger questions you will eventually have to answer.
Right.
Because you're not just going to get everything for free every time, right? But impact-wise, it's not even a debate. Is it worth it? Yes.
Yeah.
It's a lot of being in tune with the Spirit. Because like you said, you know the stories of the people who were there that made it worth it for you. And you also said you don't know what other outcomes there could have been. You've got to be in tune with the Spirit to understand, I need to keep going even though I'm not seeing the results. I know that the Spirit's telling me there are results, so I need to keep it going.
Yeah. Well said.
Yeah. Well, you'll figure out the frequency and the demand and the balance and, do you make it ticketed? Do you make it free? Do you do this? Do you do that?
Right.
There's a lot of like practical questions, but you have to do it. Yeah. I mean, it's clear. It's clear that Levittown needs that kind of space.
Yeah. I definitely could see a lot of fruit in kind of doing a podcast out of the bridge and kind of just like really documenting more of what's happening around there as a way to promote like the Lamb Jam. And I think like merch would also be like great to just like even just put money back into the event a little bit more and just, just really see how we can do continual promotion and just like when it comes time to the night, it's like people might know the artists that are coming up and their story a little bit more and feel more inclined to just go support them. So I'm hoping that could be a part of it as well.
Yeah, I would just say keep being open-handed about it.
Yeah.
You know, like that's been your biggest strength that I've seen over the course of this story over the last few months. And I would continue, like you might pivot. Okay, it was a rapper, 2 poets, a singer, 2 worship teams, and a preacher. And you might be like, you know what? I just think Lamb Jam, we need to get into the Word and write together. And like that's what it is, or that's what some of them are, and some of them aren't. And like it doesn't have to be a show to be valuable.
Amen.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like doing something to take a step in a direction to build. Because at the end of the day, it's about discipleship. It's about evangelism and discipleship and walking people from spiritual death to spiritual life, spiritual infancy to spiritual maturity, as my pastor always says, right?
Yeah.
So it's about coming to life in Jesus or walking out that faith.
Yeah.
And that's the heartbeat of the coffee shop already. So it's going to be in alignment with that anyway.
Yeah.
So what you actually do, I mean, it could take on a life of its own.
Right.
Like there was a time back in the day that we never did this, but we had a concept to do creatives weekly, right? That we were going to do every Tuesday.
Oh, I remember that.
Because we were going to do like open mics once a month, concerts once a month. We're going to do connect networking once a month, and we're going to do collabs once a month for like writing together. Right. So it's going to be like mixers type stuff, workshop stuff, open mic stuff, concert stuff. Yeah. And when we had High Point, it was a real possibility because we had it every week. It was our space. Mm-hmm. Now, when High Point shut down, that ended because we didn't have the space anymore. And I can't afford to rent something 4 times a month and rent people's time and equipment and everything else to do that. But I'm just saying, like, you could see yourself not just having the showcase as a part of the vehicle, because it's clear you have a great relationship with Andrea and they trust you. Yeah. And so I think you have, some level of like, if you have ideas, just pitch them to them. Yeah.
Yeah. Amen. Yeah. And I think that's, again, just the formula, if we want to call it that. Again, it's just, I think to your point, staying open-handed. And for me, that's just, let me just keep seeking first the Lord. And it's like, also the plan in my heart, and He'll establish my steps in the sense of like, it's like the idea is, right, it's like, that's all it is, right? And it's just like, He could just formulate it into something completely different. Like, I know I even had an idea for freestyle worship night. Like, that keeps being on my heart of just like, there's a lot of people I'm rapping with. It's just like, we just break out in the freestyles, and I see that more on Instagram as well. And I think that's an amazing display of worship, particularly when it's just like, hey, I'm willing to just be walking full humility here. I have no idea what I'm going to say. And when it's all about Jesus, it's like, wow, is that just amazing that it's like, He's on your heart and mind that much when you're freestyling. It's just like that. That's what it is. And I know a comedian also reached out and was like, hey, like, do you guys do comedy? And I was like, didn't think about that, but you know, we can. Like, yeah. So it's just like, I think it's really just being very much waiting on the Lord, of Him being like, in the same way that this kind of happened, in terms of just like, hey, have you heard of Scott? Oh, wow, I'm talking to Scott. Have you heard of Demir? Oh, wow, I'm talking to Demir, without like trying to even, I wasn't forcing any of that. It just like, the Lord was like, here it is, just, and go. Yeah. And it was like, okay. And so I trust, like, if it's in the Lord's will, like, the ingredients will be shown, and and then we'll know when to put it in the oven to bake. Yeah. Yeah. Amen. The lamb will get cooked. I am so immensely grateful, though, for you and Jarrett and all the team that was involved in this, and just, so grateful to the Lord, too, of just like that this is the life He's put me in, where I get to experience something that I love, but not have love for it more than Him. Yeah. Amen, man. Well, it's been a joy getting to know you. It's been fun. You actually came out to Creatives and performed. Yeah. Glad you came out to that. Been out to a couple of the family nights as well, and all that I have is yours. You can always ask, and we can make decisions based upon what we have available and time frames and dates and all that kind of stuff, right? So I think that's been the culture of everybody in our crew. Yeah, is like, if we can, we will. Yeah, but we can't always, know. So just let us know what you have going on. Worst case, we just pray about it together. Right? Like, I would say best case. Best case, we pray about it. Any case. Yeah. In any case, amen. Yeah.
But it's been a joy, man. I'm really excited to hear more from you. If you are here checking out this episode, thank you for partnering with Ripe Creatives, because your partnership is what enables us to take risks and do stuff like the Lamb Jam and get our butts out to the burbs of Levittown, to the Bridge Coffee Shop, and lay down our gifts and talents and abilities and stuff for the sake of the kingdom, so that people can come back home. Prodigals can get wrapped up in the Father's arms again, and folks can start to make sense of worship from a different lens, or community from a different lens, or just so much of what we do, I think, in the art space is like suicide prevention. A lot of times, like it's hard to even say that flippantly, because it's not flippant. It's a heavy thing. It's a reality. But so many folks that come to events like the ones that we produce, like Lamb Jam or Creatives Philly or whatever, they're one step away from a really heinous, dark decision. And our event sometimes is the lifesaver. It's the raft that gets thrown into the water just as they're about to drown. And that cannot be overstated, that your support is literally helping save people's lives. And we appreciate your support, because we can't do it without you. There would be no way to fiscally do anything that we do without your support. So thank you for partnering with us. Thank you for giving to support what we do, for listening to this podcast. And it's been a joy. Adam, Jarrett, thank you for being on this episode. Love you both.
Yeah, love you. Thank you.
Yeah. Until next time, y'all, stay right.
Coming live from the 215, so get it right. 500 homicides, we ducking shots through the night. So if you gon' shoot, make sure you hit your shot, boy. You better look alive when you hit that block, boy. That's it. Yeah, I'm done with the games. I thought this was.
You can learn more about Ripe Creatives and support our ministry by visiting our website, ripecreatives.com. To never miss a future episode, you can join our community text line by texting Time is Ripe to 215-273-3540. Time is Ripe is produced, recorded, edited, and released by Topmop Productions. We hope you enjoyed today's episode.
My purpose. Know that I'm the best to do it when I'm living the service. Once you see light, you understand that sin is whack. Be aware, wolves plotting on the next attack. Armor of God, give me the word. I'm always strapped. My brother's able, never question if I got his back.